What's up, everybody? Jash here. I'm back, and of course I'm not doing anything Drakengard related. Well, kinda. I'm playing NieR Automata on Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, I had talked about in the past how NieR Automata on Nintendo Switch was a decent port. I had talked about this in the video I made about the NieR Automata anime, at least the first episode of it. And, well, I had talked about how, yeah, it's decent, you know, but it's, like, not, obviously it's not the best version or anything, right? But, I pretty much mentioned, like, yeah, I think it's okay. But, I haven't really played the Nintendo Switch version of NieR Automata, or at least I haven't played farther than, like, the opening sequence, to be honest. Like, I played the opening sequence and up to the, like, the first, you know, boss. That's literally... So, I figured, while I be lazy and not work on Drakengard videos, I'll talk about that later, I'm gonna actually sit down and play a little bit and kind of give a little bit more thought on what I think about it, because I feel like I haven't actually given it its, you know, I haven't really given, like, due diligence and actually properly went hands-on with it. So I feel like it's proper that I actually give it a more thorough run and really see what I actually think about it. This was a version of NieR Automata that I was oddly excited for up till it launched, and then I never really touched it much. So, first thing I want to talk about that I noticed the first time I ever launched this game. This! Okay, this. I haven't tried this. But NieR Automata on Nintendo Switch has motion controls. Like, this is gonna literally be like Twilight Princess motion controls. Swing Joy-Con, swing weapon in game. I might try this on camera, which would be funny. But that's the first thing I noticed, which is like, is neat, but totally not needed, right? Like, it just feels like such a weird addition to add. But it's here. It's just a really odd addition to make. But we might try that. I just wanted to, like, jump out and be like, hey, this is actually a major change, but a really interesting addition that like feels entirely at home here on Switch. It feels kind of like a totally Nintendo thing to do. But yes, here we are, NieR Automata, the End of YoRHa Edition. A second thing I want to note, that title, for anybody who has played NieR Automata, the End of YoRHa, only people who have actually played this game would that mean anything. So it's just kind of weird that, like, for some people this might be their first NieR Automata experience. Possibly. So, I don't know, I just find it interesting that, like, they used a phrase for the name that really would only mean something to people who have already experienced NieR Automata in a version that's coming to a platform where there may be newcomers to this series playing it. It's just a really interesting thing to me. I don't know. I never necessarily understood it. But so as you can see, I only made it 2 hours in. So we're definitely gonna fix that. I'm gonna definitely play more, for sure. I may even do, like, just a whole complete replay through of the game on here. But I gotta say, in menus, you don't notice the lower frame rate. Like, in menus, if I wasn't already aware of the fact that this is 30 FPS, I probably would think that this is 60, because it doesn't feel like 30. You don't, well, here's a change. Switch keyboard. So I always name my files, like, Jash. It's like that one was Jash 5.0, because I think that would have been my 5th playthrough of the game. But we're going to call this Jash 6.0 just to follow the trend. I just like doing that with NieR Automata files. So, yeah, I don't really expect anything that I'm going to need to change in here. It uses HD Rumble. Oh, and handheld. Okay, so you can actually... You can use the handheld motion. So if you're playing on a Switch... So if you're playing on a Switch Lite, you can move the console to attack? That's kind of interesting. Anyways, let's start the game. So the first thing that I really notice, I didn't notice this in handheld mode, which was how I first played this on Switch. But now that I'm playing it on my, you know, 32-inch 1440p gaming monitor, I really notice it. Textures are way downscaled. Like, you can see it on the flight unit textures. They are, like, downscaled quite a bit compared to how they look on PC. I would go as far to say that these flight unit models look very similar to the ones that they had in the first episode of the NieR anime. I hope not, because I already didn't like those models in the anime. But if it were true that they stole the models for the Switch version for that, wow, that would round it all out, I think. It'd be like the completely like, wow, they really put the minimum effort, if that's true. But yeah, I would say in handheld mode, you really would not notice the lower textures simply because you're playing on such a smaller display, like at a much lower resolution. Like, I gotta say though, the 30 FPS not bothering me as much yet as I thought it would. And I say that, and then I've already used one of my small recoveries. There is a noticeable amount of input lag, and I don't know if that could potentially be for capture card reasons, but I don't think I've ever had an issue where I had this much input lag over like my capture card. It's not enough input lag for this to be unplayable, but it's noticeable, you know? Like, it's enough for me to say, like, yeah, this does not feel like it would if I was playing the game on my PC right now. I feel like there could be more factors involved in the input lag here. One, because I use a DualShock 4 wired when I'm playing games with the controllers on my PC. And obviously I'm doing wireless now. Yeah. Oh, look at the textures on her outfit. Those are definitely downscaled. Yeah, I don't know. There's a noticeable enough amount of input lag that, like, it is messing me up a little bit. But again, this could just be due to wireless controller factors as well as capture card. Those two things combined could be part of it. When I played in handheld, I don't think I had noticed this amount of input lag. Again, it's not like unplayable, but it's noticeable enough to where it is messing me up a little bit. I gotta say. But, oh, that was dodgy right there. But, this is mostly fine, though. I think if I really got used to it, I would have no problem playing through the whole game this way. Like, it still feels like NieR Automata. You can just see, like, the textures. It's just, man, they are noticed. Like, you can tell these textures are way downscaled. I really wasn't expecting the same level of texture quality as on, you know, PS4, Xbox, PC. But this definitely would look better on handheld. It's to be expected that they would have to take, you know, some compromises into account, you know, lowering texture quality and, you know, like the frame rate. But to get NieR Automata on a console like the Switch that is uber portable, right? Like, this is really cool. Now, of course, you have things like the Steam Deck, but I don't know how Automata runs on the Steam Deck. I've never seen somebody run it. Maybe I should go look. I don't have a Steam Deck to try it. You could tell, like, all of the textures are downscaled. I was kind of hoping that some of the more, like, environmental textures, like the side of buildings and such, would have been untouched. At the same time, it kind of would make sense to take, like, building textures and scale them down even more so than more important textures, like character textures and enemy textures of weapons and such. So it does kind of make sense that those textures are a lot more scaled down. But you can just see, like, on equipment and stuff, like, look at how low texture that is. It's just so funny to me. And, like, shadow detail is way lower. Again, it's like, I didn't notice this on the handheld mode just because it's such a lower resolution screen. There is no reason to play this over any other version. So, like, again, if you have a good PC to run the game, or you have an Xbox or a PS4, like, yeah, This is not going to be the version you want to play, obviously. But as a first timer, you know, someone who's never played NieR Automata before, and all they own is a Switch to play the game on, this is serviceable. I would not, like, anybody who only owns a Switch for a gaming console, I wouldn't necessarily recommend against the game. I mean, I'll always recommend NieR Automata as a game overall. But yeah, no, like, this version's not bad if this is all you got. So one thing I just now noticed, I'm not really getting any rumble in my Pro Controller. There's no rumble. Nothing has used rumble yet. Which is interesting because there were settings for HD rumble for Joy-Con. Right? Like, HD rumble was an option that I picked, and well, no rumble yet. Oh, here we are, first boss. And again, as you can see, like, holy cow, man, those textures they do be not looking good. So here we are in the bunker. So I gotta say, playing it on a full 32-inch, 1440p monitor, what can I say? This game is better in handheld mode. I'm gonna say that right away. Like, if you're gonna play this game, I think handheld is definitely going to be your best bet in terms of, like, game feel and honestly even game presentation, because again, I feel like these downscaled textures, you're not really going to notice them as much. This is a decent way to play the game. NieR Automata, I still feel like, is best on, like, Xbox One, okay? Like, it's best on Xbox and PS4/PS5. The PC version is up there with them, but I think the PC version has a few extra quirks that, like, the console versions definitely are above the PC version, but the quirks that the PC port has can be squared away with mods. But for people that are going to play NieR Automata for the first time, like, assuming they have an Xbox One or an Xbox Series console, or they have a PS4 or PS5, definitely should be playing it on those systems. But again, for someone who does not own any of those systems or a decent enough PC to run the game, this version is alright. The Switch version did also get some special outfits, which are really neat. It is still cool that this version did get some of its own little extra content. But outside of, like, some extra cosmetics, there's not really much other reason to get this game over any other version, really. I'll be honest with you, my main reason for wanting to own it physically was simply because of this reversible cover art. Like, it's so nice. I love it. Like, it completely gets rid of the Switch logo and it's just the full artwork. It's beautiful. So I would say, in conclusion, I do like this version, but it would never be my go-to to replay NieR Automata. I think I'll definitely replay through the whole thing at some point here on Switch, just because I feel like I do need to give it its entire proper chance. However, I just felt like getting some footage of me playing it and really talking about it a little bit more hands-on was something I needed to do. And now I've also seen it from both sides. Both sides meaning I've seen it on handheld mode and in docked mode. However, there is one last thing we do need to try, and that is these motion controls. Let's see here. Motion control on. And like I said, HD rumble on. I didn't get any rumble. That's interesting to me. But anyways, we are going to do the motion controls. Apparently, the Nintendo Switch Pro Controller. Move it in any direction to evade? Okay, that's kind of cool. It even, like, somewhat detects what direction you want to evade in? I say somewhat because it doesn't seem to be very accurate. But I assume that using this... In fact, I barely even moved the controller and I just evaded. Like, yeah, I would definitely not do this, because this would, like, I do move around a little bit when playing. I would definitely not want this on the Pro Controller. Either way, this is a really neat version, I gotta say. Like, I definitely prefer this over, like, a cloud-based, like, if this were to be streamed over internet. Because, like, and it's so sad, too, because, like, Kingdom Hearts, right? All of the Kingdom Hearts games on Switch are streamed over internet, which is so interesting, right? Because, like, you'd think, like, the older... Maybe Kingdom Hearts 3, I can understand why they would do that cloud-based. But, like, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, you can't tell me that can't run native. Like, those are PS2 games and like a PSP game, and then you just have cutscenes for, you know, days and recoded. You're telling me that those can't run natively on a Switch? I just, like, so they went through the effort to get a game like NieR Automata, right, to run natively on Switch. But then Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, they made them cloud versions? Like 2.8 and Kingdom Hearts 3, I can maybe understand. Also, yeah, these load screens are way longer. This is a long load screen for NieR Automata. But again, it just kind of stinks. Like, they went through all this effort to you know, put NieR Automata on Switch natively. But then, like, Kingdom Hearts, where they could have easily done it with 1.5 and 2.5, they're like, nope, we're not doing that. Why would we do that? It just sucks, man. Kingdom Hearts should be native on Switch. Either way, this loading screen is, holy wow, 10 times the length of a loading screen for this game on other platforms. Jeez. So that is the final consensus. So yeah, the Drakengard stuff, there's going to be a video coming out not too long from now. I'll talk more about it then probably, but that Drakengard series is not going to happen. You'll know more in the next video. But essentially, if I could shorten it down, I'm going to stop putting myself into these, like, big projects that I say I'm going to do, and then I end up not doing anything further. That's ending. That is done for. I'm not doing that anymore. My content, the type of content that I want to make, is going to shift. I may even be doing some live streaming. I might try to get back into that again. I'm not entirely 100%, like, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'm definitely going to be shifting what kind of content that I want to make. And so, yeah, that'll be all, like, further discussed in that next video, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope this was a somewhat enjoyable time. I am a bit tired, so anyways, I will catch you all in the next one. Josh out.